Well, as always, thanks for joining. Man, we've had a lot of stuff going on in our lives, and I'm just finally getting caught up on some things that I've filmed. Back in April, we made a trip down to Kentucky, and we went to the Ark Encounter. And something we've been wanting to do for a long time, so I thought I would just cover some of the things that we saw and that I thought would help you if you were going to go there. So let's just get into it. I guess first off, one of the things I would recommend is that if you have kids, I don't think this is a great thing for small kids. I think ideally your kids need to be 10 or 12 or older. This is kind of a walkthrough exhibit, and there is a ton of reading. There isn't a whole lot of interactive stuff, but there's a lot of reading. There is a playground there, which is really cool. It's a cool playground, I guess. I didn't go on it, but there's also like a 3D ride that you can go on. There's a carousel. So there's definitely some things to entertain kids, but the Ark itself I feel like is a lot of reading that would really play more to kids in the 10 years and older age group. But by all means, they've made it, they've got ramps so you can push strollers and stuff like that through the whole exhibit. But it covers a lot of territory, and one of the cool things, I love to know how things are made, and this really kind of takes a good educated guess as to how the Ark was constructed, and that is one of my favorite things myself. Initially, when you walk in, you are just awestruck by just the sheer size of this boat. They have made it to biblical standards and made it the exact size and width and length. So it is just really cool and kind of epic to kind of take that all in. They've really made that the center focal point, and nothing really kind of takes away from that. So it's just really cool. There's a lot of neat photo opportunities that didn't seem to be real crowded. We got there first thing in the morning, so that's right when the crowd is really hitting. You walk in and there is a theater, and you can kind of sit down and watch a 30-minute or 45-minute kind of presentation that goes around how they built the Ark Encounter and some other stuff like that, which is really cool to watch. And then you really kind of just walk in, and then you're kind of herded like cattle. Unfortunately, we went on the weekend that was kind of like a spring break weekend, so it was fairly crowded, and I'm very impatient, unfortunately, so I can't stand waiting in lines. So that was one thing that was not good for me, but that's just my personality. But a lot of reading, a lot of really neat facts that you can see there, and they really give a good explanation as to why they believe that things were set up the way they were. And there's a whole lot of artistic creativity that was taken, but it's neat to see how things could have played out. All the cages and the way the water worked, and the way they dealt with waste, because you don't kind of think about that. You're on a boat for 40, well, it rained for 40 days and nights, so who knows how long they were on there, but the way they had to deal with all that, and the way they brought in fresh water, and just the overall construction of how the exterior was made and the interior, it was just really cool to see all of that stuff. So really neat. Also, once you got out, of course, they herd you through a gift shop where you can buy some stuff, but they have like some live animals. You can walk through kind of an open exhibit of kangaroos. The kids really love those. If you have to stay on the cement sidewalk, but if they come up to you, you're more than willing. They're allowing you to touch them, I guess, at some point. But there's a lot of cool animals to see. There's also a petting zoo with goats and a bunch of other animals, so that's kind of cool to see. They also, at an added cost, have some zip lines and some rope courses. Unfortunately, it rained that day when we were there, so those exhibits weren't open, but those cost extra. As well as the 3D ride, that was a little bit of extra, and unfortunately, the day we went was a lot of school groups, and I was not going to go on it, but my wife and kids went on it, and it was about an hour and 45-minute wait to get onto that thing. However, the carousel, which was free, was pretty much walk on. So interesting. You know, it was kind of cool though. So overall, we wrapped that thing up. I think we got there as soon as they opened, and I think we left fairly close to the time they were getting ready to close. So we were there all day. You could definitely make it shorter if the crowds are smaller, but they have some restaurants there that you can eat at that the restaurants were reasonably priced. I don't think they were too expensive. They do have a couple of videos that are playing throughout the boat as you're touring it, where you can sit down and watch a 20 to 30 minute video, but obviously you have to be waiting for that next video to end so you can sit down. Crowds were really lined up for those things while we were there, so we missed one of those. The other one I didn't feel was really relevant, so we sat through the first few minutes and then got up and left, unfortunately. Just didn't think it was a good use of our time. But overall, it is an exhibit that I highly recommend. I think everybody should go see that at least once. It's just really cool. We went at a nice time of the season where the weather was fair. Another reason I do these videos really just to document this stuff for myself and my family. So just stick around, we'll be playing some photos and some video clips that we took. And as always, thanks for sticking around, and we'll see you next time.